going to start by taking attendance. And I will ask everybody, both in the room and online, to respond when I call on you. Vice Chair Rice.
Aye.
Commissioner Lynch.
Here.
Commissioner Jim On.
Here.
Chair is here, and online we have Commissioner Marks.
Here.
Did I hear another commissioner respond?
Yeah, so Maury's here, but I can't get video on my phone.
Commissioner Mori, okay.
Oh, this is her phone number.
That's great. We see your box with the phone number on screen. Is Commissioner Adler here? No, guess not yet, but I know he's trying, so.
Okay.
We will welcome him when he gets here. So we do have a quorum. Just a couple of announcements. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge that today is Juneteenth, and which is now a national holiday, and we celebrate the anniversary of the liberation of the last enslaved people at the time of the Civil War. Grenada. Today's Star Advertiser has an article about this meeting on the back of the front section. If you haven't seen it, I'm very pleased to see that our profile is rising. It's a pretty good article, I think, overall, and Laurie is quoted in it to good effect. I guess the mayor hasn't yet signed the gifts bill. I'm hoping to see another article when that happens, and that we will have input into that as well.
Yeah, I do have updates to share later.
Okay, we'll get to.
It has been transferred.
We'll get to that.
And I see Mr. Bauer is on.
I'm in an ethics commission meeting. I'll call you later.
Somebody's mic is on.
That was Commissioner Marks.
Okay. And final announcement, I just wanted to mention that may be of interest that Civil Beat is having a Civil Cafe event that's free in person and online on Wednesday, July 10th from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. at Civil Beat headquarters, and as I said, online. And it's going to be a discussion of the articles that ran a while back on Hawaii's pay-to-play culture. That was all done under the auspices of a New York Times project, and the former executive editor, Dean Baquet of the New York Times, will be there as guest panelist. So that should be very interesting.
I will be attending.
Great. And I think if I don't make it, I will upload the recording later because I'm interested. The additional distribution was the testimony, and we have that. And finally, before I turn it over, the open session minutes of April 17th, can I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve those.
Vice Chair moves.
Second.
Commissioner Lynch has seconded, and is there any discussion? Okay, going to a vote, I'm going to do what I usually do, which is ask if anybody intends either to vote no or to abstain. And if I hear no negative votes or abstentions, then we will record it as a unanimous vote. So does anyone at this point wish to vote no or to abstain on the minutes? Okay, hearing none, the minutes are approved as submitted. And then we'll move to the Executive Director and Legal Counsel's report.
Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to actually see commissioners here in the building. We haven't had as many attendees in person, and it's been quite some time. I'll start with slide 5, having to do with the office renovation. We are largely done. If any of you have not seen it, I think we had a few people walking through this morning. We invite you to see it. It's not a huge space, but it is a big improvement over what we had. So we're moving in, buying little tables and other pieces of equipment, some privacy shields and other things to make the space a little more conducive to a work environment. Also on this slide are work report summaries, which you may see in the meeting materials. On slide 6, under staffing, we are recruiting for a legal clerk, currently in the interviewing process, and we'll be posting soon for an associate legal counsel. So very busy with those interviews. Moving on to slide 7, the statistics. Now this, I also wanted to add something here that came out just about a week ago. As you know, at the end of the fiscal year, we do a fiscal year roll-up of all of our numbers, so that we can report them out into the annual reports. The first such report is the department and agency report, which is the city's annual report. We have already received instructions and some initial deadlines on when those numbers are due. They seem to have moved up the deadlines significantly this year. We're not sure why, but the first turn of numbers is July 23rd. So that doesn't give us a lot of time to roll up, all of our data. We will have a bit of a challenge this year only because we do span 2 separate systems, our old log, which we used for the first half of the year, and then a new database called Lalima that the Department of Information Technology had created for us. I think we went live with that in October or November of last year. So we're going to have to blend numbers from 2 different systems, and hopefully we'll be able to come out with the right reporting. But it will be a little trickier this year because of that. The formatting has changed a little bit in the department and agency report. In the past, they have limited the number of accomplishments for departments to report. Last year, they opened it up and departments really had long lists of accomplishments. So I noticed that this year they're pulling them back to 10. We report with the Department of the Corporation Council, and I'm hoping that doesn't mean 10 for the both of us. I'm hoping that means 10 for us and 10 for them. So we will do our best to ensure that our data is adequately reported. We do have that table of data that goes into that report. We have kept track of our accomplishments. We have a good number. I think we have 10 already, and I can talk a little bit more about that later. On the slide 7, you'll see the new request for advice that has been received, as well as for both April and May. On the next slide, slide 8, this is investigations. You'll see the numbers there of new cases received, closed cases, and active cases. On slide 9, relating to the budget. The budget, I didn't check, but I believe that one has also been transmitted to the mayor. There is a deadline for that 3rd reading of the budget bills, and the June 15th was the charter deadline to adopt the budget. So those measures are all sitting with the mayor. Starting in the summer, we will already be beginning to develop the fiscal year 26 budget, which I think one of the things that we do want to request is travel budget for commissioners. I know we've never had it before. Other commissions in the city, boards and commissions in the city do have travel budget. And we've fought to get our staff travel budget reinstated. Now that that's happened, we'd like to see if we can't extend it to commissioners. For the purposes of COGL, the Council on Governmental Ethics Laws, the State Ethics Commission has, I want to say, 2 or 3 commissioners that attend every year, and they have budget for them to do so. So at least there's a precedent of, and I believe campaign spending as well. So that means that, if they are able to get budget for their commissioners to travel in the state, then we would hope to do so here in the city as well. So that's something that we will be adding to our budget request this year.
Good.
Moving on to slide 10, I'm going to look at our training specialist, Kirsten Alyagi.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Mhm.
To start off, we have the ethics training numbers. So we do see an increase from last time. It's now 6,765 completed training. So there is an increase, and hopefully it continues to go up from there. Moving on to the next slide, for Board Commission, we have a gradual increase to 35. I believe that last time it was around 32, so hopefully it also continues to go up. Moving on to the
Can I
next
make a
slide.
comment?
Sure.
Yes.
So I tried to log in and I couldn't log in. And then I ended up
Me too.
sending an email in, and Allison was kind enough to give me a cheat sheet for how to log in, and I tried to do it again, and it looked like to me that they had assigned me a date in July to do it. And I don't know if that's the case or not, but I did put it on my calendar in July to do it when I had tried twice earlier to log in.
So does that mean it's not available on demand?
I don't know.
It should be available, and the due date of July, we understand, was set by the Equal Opportunity Office. Actually, the deadline isn't until December 31. But for whatever reason, EOO, the Equal Opportunity Office, set a very early deadline to kind of hasten along the training, but in fact, it's not for another 6 months.
But Vicky seems to be suggesting she was given a date to have the access in July.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
aware that
tried
that's the case.
twice to log in and to no avail.
Okay.
So we need to follow up on that.
May I ask Allison, can you let us, the commissioners, Kirsten, so sorry, let us, who do I mean? Allison, is Allison the individual we really are needing?
Well, she assisted, yeah, and she
Okay.
assisted.
So here's my question, to whomever it's relevant. Can the commissioners find out who hasn't done this training yet? And confirm a date when we must do it, if it's December or if it's July, so we're compliant? Because I frankly don't know if I did or didn't.
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
So I can figure out who has and hasn't done it.
Okay,
So I do have that list. I don't think I can see when it is due though.
well, as long as we can find out that we are due,
Yeah.
then we can get on the stick and where we go. I don't know why this is seeming like a blur to me.
No, the deadline is December 31.
Okay.
And
I
I
wanna
think
get
Kirsten
it off
can
our
look into
plate.
the system
Yeah.
to look for the names.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
There's no further questions. Moving on to the next slide.
So can I just ask a question? This is Cynthia Lynch. Will we be notified? Are, that
So-
we're supposed to be taking this training or?
Yes, because you are new to the system, I don't think that you were properly notified. You
Yeah.
are in the system. It's now, we
Okay.
got you in the system. So I will go ahead and figure that out for you.
Okay, great.
So moving on to our ethics training program, we had a specialized training for the Department of Parks and Recreations for District 4. I attended, so did our Assistant Executive Director and Legal Counsel Lori Wong Lindsay, and our Vice Chair Tadia Rice attended. And it was great. We got some great feedback. They thought it was well organized and visually appealing to look at. And majority seemed to have really enjoyed their training.
About how many turned out for that?
About 17
Oh, good.
showed up, so it was a great number.
It was a little slow getting them organized. There was apparently some, I don't know, miscommunication or what, but when we finally got everybody there, which was like herding cats,
Yeah.
it was very active. There was a lot of participation, questions. Most of them seemed pretty well trained, actually, but there were extenuating questions. And it was very interesting because we all had interaction with all of the participants. We were invited to stay for lunch. They were very satisfied with it. And so it was really quite a delightful event. And I would encourage other commissioners to go to these if you have the opportunity. I quite enjoyed myself.
Great.
Moving on to the next slide, we have another specialized training coming up for the Building Board of Appeals. I will be attending, and so will our Assistant our Associate Legal Counsel, Terry Ole will be attending as well. And yeah, we are excited to attend and we will report more on the next meeting. And that will be this Friday, June 21st.
Terry, I wanted to ask if you wanted to share a little bit about how this particular training came about.
Sure. This actually was a special request to the assigned core deputy. I'm hoping to be able to address kind of conflict of interest issues that have been arising by the Building Board of Appeals to equip them with identification and just better information regarding disclosures. So and that it actually flows from our initial financial disclosure trainings that we're doing over the fall. I think that training kind of put us out there, let them know that we do conduct these trainings, and it eventually led to this one. So excited to continue this relationship, and hopefully there'll be additional training opportunities in the future on other areas of the law.
So I will note that the nature of this training is very different than the one that was put on for parks. Those are the recreational directors.
Yeah.
In this case, it's much more heavily legal oriented on conflicts of interest. And so Kirsten and Terry will tag team on this one, presenting them with some of the scenarios that I think they provided. And we can then engage with the Board of Appeals on questions that they actually have that have come up in the course of their work.
Is this for managers, directors, and supervisors, or employees?
This is for the board.
The board,
the board.
the board members. Yeah.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next slide. So we just had a pop-up event last month, May 15th at Honolulu Public. There were 31 people who stopped by the table. Majority were city employees and some were of the general public. And it was also a really great event. They came by, asked questions. Seemed like a lot of people were really trying to understand who we are and what we do. And so it was great to kind of tell them about that. And we had a little game that a lot of people enjoyed playing. So that was great. We got to kind of grab people from the side and be like, come on, play our game. So I believe it was a fun time. And we have two more.
Wait a minute. What was the game?
Oh,
Was it the
was,
fan?
it was a fishing game.
a fishing game?
Yes,
It's great to know
our
about.
theme was dive into ethics since it's summertime.
Very good.
So with the help of Terry, I was able to create some type of fishing game that people can fish for magnets and with
Some people were
prizes.
very competitive.
I did that in church myself, so I was a kid.
Well, this was Terry's son's fishing game, so. Well, the game you did for Parks and Rec got so much participation.
Yes.
People got very excited about it. So I'm interested in the games you're going to have.
A lot of people enjoyed this.
Wonderful.
So I wanted to interject something because we had originally scheduled the Honolulu Hale outreach table on top of a council meeting, thinking that there would be more foot traffic through the Hale and that more people. Actually, the opposite kind of happened. I think everybody hunkers down, at least the Hale employees hunker down, either watching council or monitoring bills, or the staff members are all glued to the meeting. There was far less traffic, I think,
Interesting. Yeah.
in this one. So it counterintuitive. Here we scheduled it on a council meeting thinking, oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of people for the holiday. It was actually the opposite. So we might not, at least in Honolulu,
Right.
we might want to just schedule it at a random time when, employees are a little more free to stop by the table. That was something that we didn't think would happen, and it was quite the opposite of what we planned. So live and learn.
Yep.
We do have two more outreach for the rest of the year. We have one at the FFB Boston Municipal Building. That will be August 28th. And then we have one at Kapolei Hale on October 9th. That will be a council day, so it will have better turnout.
Yeah.
Moving on to the
Where's
next
where
one,
was the FMB building?
the Boston
Oh,
Municipal Building.
In town. Okay.
The big-
The high rise. Sit down the campus from.
The city hall.
Right across from that old pipe. That's,
Yeah. You've seen it in the past.
Probably just. There's an observation.
So we do have a back of case coming out at the end of June. And this theme is talking about city ethics guide for outside employment. So that will be releasing at the end of this month for city employees. And it's in the meeting materials.
Can you provide a picture of that next time, an image, so we can see what it actually looks like, since we don't see city paychecks?
It's actually.
Oh,
It's in the meeting
It
materials,
is?
Not as a pay stub. It's
Oh, let me,
what will go on the
yeah,
pay
no,
stub.
no problem.
Yeah.
Thanks.
In fact, this is the one that I think.
Oh, I see.
Chair and vice chair commented on. We
Yeah.
took the comments and made the changes.
Mhm.
We were going for a sort of a Star Wars theme on this one. That's why you see the lightsabers, kind of, in a watermark along the back. Trying to move, in different pathways so that we can interest our city employees. We have gotten very positive feedback with kind of the lighter, brighter, not so heavy and dense types of newsletters. And so we have continued on, when we used to work with the design and print shop, for the customer services department, they kind of rebranded a lot of the way our newsletters look, and we've tried to continue along that vein. City employees either see them via their email if they are a domain user. And if not, if they're a blue collar worker, that we ask that the departments print it and then put it up on the bulletin board. Something that's very different from all the rest of the labor types of posters that are already populating those bulletin boards is good because it pops up, is a little visually more interesting and hopefully drives people to look at that.
Moving on to the next slide. So we are happy to report that we have a fresh, new and modern website up and running. Thank you to Private Secretary Leland Bach and our former legal clerk, Christy Pato, and Jin and Zach from DIT. I'm turning into a city employee. All I remember is
Oh, no.
for building this website. It was not an easy task,
Yeah.
but we were able to pull through and make it to the finish line. And now we have a great website up and running for everyone to enjoy. So hopefully you folks like it as well.
I'll provide a little bit of background. The city websites, as you know, were very staid and old and had been like that for quite some time. Sometime, I believe it was in the summer last year, the Department of Information Technology told us that they were going to reboot all of their websites. And here you go. This is the platform. Have a good time. We are not web designers, and we don't have any experience with WordPress, which is the platform on which it's built. And turns out information technology also didn't have that much experience on WordPress either. And so they weren't that helpful in terms of providing, guidance on how you do these things. So fortunately, both Christy and Leland kind of took it strangled by the stranglehold and tried to work it forward, testing out different kinds of widgets, I believe they're called. Those little flip things that you see sliding across with the newsletters or the countdown to the Ethics Commission meeting. All of those things are items that you place into the website to give it more visual interest. So they learned as they went along. We had to import some material from the old website into the new website. And so some of it we can't change because that I guess the way it was published, it still points to the new one. And there are a few things that we can't really alter. Your comment about the way the numbering goes on the meetings, Leland was able to make that change. And so you will see that the numbering works. We were worried that it was going to break all the links, but I guess he figured out a way to do it. So thank you very much.
It's a little bit, it's a little bit touch and go because, like John mentioned, a lot of the things that we did transfer over from the old website were stagnant in charts or columns and whatnot. So in the new WordPress, it does give you a lot of more different capabilities. It's called Table Press. Our newsletters go out differently, so we're still learning that. So there are a few things that might look a little bit different or flow a little bit different, but just let us know, and we can try and get those things fixed. And there is also, I think Aaron pulled up the main page, there's the About Us page, which has your guys' profiles, your profile pictures, and your guys' information. So if you wanted to take a look at that, if you guys want things updated, just let I know, and we can kind of should take care of those things.
And the error code was repaired, yeah.
It was according to DIT, so it should redirect, but we did find
I
some.
did
Yeah,
find,
yeah.
I still get, is, okay, I have the page bookmarked. And if I try to use my old bookmark, it returns an error notice.
Yeah.
So what I did was I deleted my bookmark, I reloaded a new bookmark to the new page. But it was supposed to redirect even on a bookmark, so I'm not sure why that doesn't happen.
Well, it's strange with my bookmark. I didn't have any
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
So mine was
On
fine.
the very first listing for Honolulu Ethics on your Google search was the error code.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
I think
so
DIT will
that's
be able to address that.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, so when you do Google it, it should pop up first. I did try it on my computer. But hopefully if you find things awry, outside of the meetings, or just let us know.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it now and just see what happens.
It might also be a case of different browsers.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
Could be.
Some browsers respond properly and some don't.
And I was mentioning too that it was kind of funny because when I was researching, again, it came up with Honolulu Ethics Commission - Honolulu Zoo. And I thought, well, that's interesting. I wonder how it is that we're related to the zoo. It went to the proper site. It just, that's what the heading was. And I thought, oh, that's curious. But I imagine there's going to be a lot of little things like this as the whole city turns over into these new sites. I think we are not last.
Other departments that have still not turned over to WordPress.
And state. Yeah. Let's talk about that.
And we've been told by the Information Technology Department that our website looks very good. So we're very pleased to hear that. Then we think that that's a high compliment. So, yeah, so we're very pleased. We don't have the depth of staff that some of these bigger departments have. So, our small staff was able to pull it off. So my thanks to the entire website team.
And with that, that's all I have to report.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to slide 17, which is legislation. Laura, you want to talk about Bill 23? Sure, pretty exciting.
Yes, so Bill 23, the commission's long-awaited gifts law. The legislation, it was Bill 23, 2024 CD1. It passed third reading by City Council on June 5th. And it actually was transmitted to the mayor last Friday on June 14th for signature and for approval. So the deadline for the mayor's response is June 28th. So
Oh, yes, talk.
last Friday, the end of the month, actually. So we're looking forward to that and its new rollout. Many thanks again to our hardworking permitted interaction group from, oh my goodness, probably,
Commissioner Marks.
yes, thank you, Commissioner Marks.
You're still here.
And I believe former Commissioner Ricky Amano, she played a huge part in that. Chair Monk, thank you so much, as well as Debbie Halbert, Dr. Debbie Halbert, who was back then a law student. And she was doing her pro bono work with us, and she did a substantial amount of research and the initial first draft of that legislation, which was introduced back in 2022 via Chair Waters.
She deserves a star in the sidewalk outside.
Right, we're so thankful to everyone for this, and especially with the support of Mayor Blangiardi and City Council for getting it through prior to the end of this fiscal year, which is June 30th. So with all of that, we didn't get 100% of everything, but I think this really
put into effect the commission's intention, which was to strengthen and clarify the city's gift law, which is currently found in revised ordinances of Honolulu, section 1-19.7. So that will be revised. It adds a number of different definitions in section A. It's got what I call like the belt and suspenders approach. Previously, we only had the belt, but now we've added the suspenders section. Section B is the belt. Section C is the suspenders, which adds the prohibited source language. And it actually specifically identifies certain automatically prohibited sources. And the first one are lobbyists. And that was the subject of, prior cases in the past that the commission has formally advised upon, and the settlement agreements. Most notably, the Romy Cachola case way back when, 2013. So obvious, also those who receive funding from the city, so basically those who are involved in procurement, those people are also considered prohibited sources. So people such as city contractors, city concessionaires, vendors, grant recipients, all those folks are automatically prohibited, which means that city officers and employees cannot receive gifts from them. They cannot solicit gifts from these people. So that was a huge win for the commission, I want to say. The belt part is actually a buffed up version of our current law. So what it adds is, in addition to the prohibits city officers and employees from receiving or soliciting gifts, if it appears that the giver is intending that the gift is intended to reward or influence the city officer employee in their official duties. It also prohibits a gift if it appears that the gift is going to provide an unfair advantage. So it kind of loops in this fair and equal treatment law in it. So that's something new as well. So with all these brand new changes, we are going to be working on, with the help of Kirsten, we'll be working on some outreach and education efforts. So we're working on that right now. We've got a great decision tree going, some draft guidance also happening as well.
So until we get the mayor's signature, we're not quite there yet.
Not quite
But I want to just say that it's not just the permitted interaction group, but the staff did a lot of work over a long time, both internally and work. Somebody trying to get in? Sorry, working with council staff to iron out issues that there might have been on their side, and city council did yeoman work in finally gearing up and getting this thing passed. So everybody deserves a lot of credit for this.
Hello?
Who's saying hello?
Yeah, my name's Tim Gary. Are you taking testimony on any of these items?
Yes, yeah, Mr. Gary, sorry, very, very sorry. I should have said up front at the beginning of the meeting, anybody is welcome to offer up to 3 minutes of testimony. If we don't, do we have any registered testifiers? I'm not aware that we do. They usually get to speak first.
Well, we did receive the written.
We have one written testimony on an item we haven't gotten to yet. But yeah, Mr. Gary, go ahead. Speak up. What would you like to say? Are you there? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Speak up. We're ready to hear you.
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to talk about Bill 23. I'd like to commend the commission for the study that they did. I went through your website and read everything. I was one of the few people that testified against the bill, and I've urged the mayor and the managing director to veto it. I was surprised that your vote was so close on the, in regards to the no gift rule, which I was supporting, just based on past history of some of our city councilmen and the violations that occurred. I was against the no gift, or I was for no gifts at all. But I just wanted to call in and commend the comprehensive study that you guys did. And I read the interaction between you, and it was pretty close. I was kind of surprised on the vote. So I've urged and called the mayor to veto this, and I have some regards and or some problems in regards to self-reporting by council people, officers, and whatever. So I appreciate all the work you did on it. It's an improvement from what we had in the past, but I don't think it sends the public a strong enough message that we're serious about violations of ethics. And I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much for your testimony. If you have any specific suggestions that you would like to offer, please feel free to put them in an email and send them in, or however it's convenient for you.
Yeah, I've already testified in front of the full council. They know my arguments for it. I've spoken with Lori about it also, and I've spoken with the mayor too. So anyway, I appreciate all the work that you guys did in putting that study together.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Anything further on Bill 23?
Okay.
Let's see, where are we? Oh,
I guess the next matter is on slide 18,
salary.
relating to the salary commission resolutions.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Can I speak to that?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, Commissioner Marks,
Okay.
please go ahead.
You know, we just got the written testimony the other day, and I think that there's some substance to what was said, but we don't have enough information to really look at it at this point. And for example, it said that somebody had given a legal opinion to the council. Who did? What was the opinion? And did anyone look at what the Salary Commission legislation says? And under that legislation, is the council required to vote on their own salary? So there's a lot of unanswered questions. So rather than taking up a lot of time discussing it today, I'm going to make a motion, and my motion is that we should refer this to staff as a commission-initiated complaint so that they can investigate the information and figure out what the legislation says, who or what was the person who gave legal advice to the council, what was the advice, and then finally, if the legislation requires the council to vote on it, is it a matter of necessity so that it would override the conflict of interest? So my motion is to refer it to the staff for investigation.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Vice Chair seconds. Discussion? Could I just say, I want to ask, is Missy Wassa in the meeting? I haven't seen her name on screen, but Natalie, are you here? Apparently not. Okay. I was just wondering whether it would behoove us to ask if she wants to file a request for action with the commission and have her be the initiator. But I don't have strong feelings either way. Yeah, Vice Chair.
My only comment is at the end of her memo, she asks a question. She
Yeah.
asks two.
Yeah.
And I think if it's appropriate for us to answer them, we should answer them. It may not be appropriate that we answer those. So that I would add to the part of the investigation that Commissioner Marks has suggested or recommended. Because we do need to give her a response. And I myself am a little confused by the two questions, so.
Jan, any comment?
We were not asked about these salary commission bills by the council. I approached the council. I have spoken with several of the members. I sat through the committee hearing that heard the initial 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 measures. Chair saw me sitting there and asked the members right during the meeting whether or not there were any questions, and there were none. We have done a little bit of research on how the salary commission works. Again, we are not experts on the salary commission, and I do see someone who is logged in from the Office of Council Services. And they are actually the body that advises the salary commission. In looking at the charter on the salary commission, the resolution that changes the salary comes out of the salary commission and takes effect on its own without any action by the council. There is a way for the council to vote it down, but my understanding is that has not been done since I think the last time was 2013. The dates that I received in reaching out to the clerk's office and Office of Council Services were that there were resolutions introduced in 2002, 04, 12, and 13 that rejected salaries at that time. And subsequent to that, there have been no opportunities for the council to vote. If the council doesn't have to vote on anything, then technically they don't put in a disclosure because they're not voting. I do know that there are council members who introduced measures to reject the salaries. They were not introduced at council. And so the council members who introduced initially the resolutions had put in disclosures, but it never went to council.
So bottom line, is this really an ethics issue?
That's the question.
Yeah, is this really an ethics issue?
I think the nature of what Missy Wassa is asking is the salary commission resolution takes effect on its own unless the council rejects it. When it takes effect on its own, and I know, from what I'm seeing here, it's added to the legislative budget as part of the budget, and they vote on their budget, on the legislative budget. But they, by charter, cannot change it. They can't do anything about it. It just goes into action. At least that's how the charter describes it. The salary commission resolution means no concurrence. And so in a lot of respects, they aren't voting on anything really other than what the salary commission's resolution is that is inserted into the budget. So in looking at the way the charter is set up, I think the issues came up last year regarding the large increase that the salary commission described as trying to bring, the council's salaries closer into parity with the rest of the salaries. There was all this discussion about rejecting it, but that never happened. And the measures that were put forward by certain council members were never introduced. So that is our understanding of how.
Well, I really appreciate that you so quickly, did this research, or maybe you did it a while ago in preparation for those meetings at the council. But I think it is an ethics question because is anyone required to file a disclosure? But nonetheless, I have my motion, it's been seconded, and what you've said, Jan, I think would be part of the investigation as to whether, a disclosure is required or not. So at least let's get a vote on my motion, please.
Sure. Okay, any further discussion before we vote?
I have a question.
Yeah, Commissioner Jimmo.
Even raised the issue, is this within the purview of the jurisdiction of the Ethics Commission? And maybe that should be the issue.
That would be the first question.
That would be the first question.
The answer is no, then the rest goes
The
away.
rest is moot.
Agreed. Vicky, does that sound right to you?
Yes.
Anything further?
So does this require an amendment to her motion with respect?
Well, restate your motion, please, Vicky.
That the commission refer the matter to staff for an investigation.
Okay. And commissioners to be invited to submit detailed questions after the meeting or as discussed during the meeting. How's that? Can we add that? So
I don't know that it's necessary to add that. They can
Okay, let's try that.
investigate, and part of their investigation can say,
What would you like to
No.
know, Commissioner? Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll keep it to your motion then.
Not to add more pressure to you, but because this is such a pending issue and it has hit the media and there will likely be more inquiry, should we give it a 30-day?
Well, let's keep to our meeting schedule and say, in time for further discussion at our next meeting. Would that make sense?
Well, it's up to you, Vicky, really, it's your motion, but I just want to
I
get a
just think-
response, I don't want to just hang it.
well, I think, the reason for my motion is I think there are some questions that need to be looked at with Miss Awase's letter, and whether that letter makes an investigation conclude we don't have jurisdiction or we do have jurisdiction, or because of the way that the legislation is written, there's no need for there to be a disclosure or what have you. I just think we need to look at it and give a thoughtful answer to what was raised in the letter from Ms. Awase.
Agreed, it's just we don't meet till August.
We don't need to.
That's
August, but
okay.
We'll be doing it before August.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was
Yeah.
suggesting a time.
Okay. What seems reasonable, folks? From the staff
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah.
There is a reserve date in July 17th.
But is this of such urgency that we would need to call a special meeting just to discuss it? I don't think so.
I don't
This
think
issue-
so either.
No, we can push it off. We'll be out of this.
Okay. Well, I don't know, it's really up to staff to decide, to staff really on their responsibilities and how much they can do with this as an investigation. I'm just saying, I don't want to leave it open.
All beyond August is.
Well, does 30 days place undue pressure on staff?
Yeah,
That's
I think you should give staff plenty of time. I don't think this is,
I agree.
such a pressing matter. And everybody that's filed a complaint that's under investigation probably thinks the complaint is a pressing matter. So,
No doubt. No doubt.
Well, the only thing that does bear on all of this is that this particular resolution, if we're talking about the salary commission resolutions, they will be passing out of council in order to be put on the November ballot.
Right.
And so if it passes out of council and goes on the November ballot, then, you know, we're kind of working within that time frame, right? Because these resolutions are being decided by council in terms of putting it on the ballot. The electorate then votes. So it's very attenuated from, Pat said it, it's the electorate that's really going to make that final decision, whether or not any changes happen to, whether yes or no. The council itself cannot change it. They only put the measure.
Right.
So,
So I think the pending question was to you was, how much time do you think you need to decide issue
Yeah.
of whether or not there's jurisdiction or not?
Mhm.
That's a simple question.
as we, two issues today come up about it. So it is strange. I mean, it's not just a simple straight out.
Well, because the council doesn't really
Right.
do
Because of
anything.
the structure.
So
involved.
I would say that Commissioner Marks's motion should go forward, and then certainly you, the staff, will be able to give us feedback as to whether or not this is a doable thing, or the investigation can't proceed, or it's not enough information, or whatever. It's just, we do have the election, we have the inquiries, we have the media. So we do need to take action, some kind of response to people, to the public.
Well, maybe I could make a suggestion.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to vote on the issue initially would be necessary, and then you can have a secondary vote on what would be an appropriate time frame, whether it be reasonable course or an expedited course, or whatever course you think it is.
Okay.
But take it into two parts.
Okay, so let's go ahead then, unless there's any further comment, and take up the motion by Commissioner Marks, made and seconded, to essentially request the staff investigate these questions regarding ethical implications of salary commissions, interactions with city council on council salaries. Is that a fair statement, the way I put it?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Again, if there is anybody who plans to vote no or to abstain, please speak up now. Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. And again, as far as the time frame goes, I don't know that we need to necessarily take formal action on a time frame. We could, request that actually, when would be a reasonable
I
expectation?
think the staff can let us know.
You
I
can-
agree.
We don't even have to.
You know, if they think we need a meeting in July, they can let us know.
Would hope not, but that's what those reserve dates are there for. Okay. Before we go on, I just wanted to check, has anybody heard from Commissioner Adler? I haven't seen him. I don't know if he's here or if he's trying to get in. Could somebody?
It would
Allison, hello?
I have a hard time getting in.
Yeah, but you're here. Let's
Yeah,
see,
sure.
Allison or Aaron, could somebody maybe give him a call on his cell and see what his situation is?
He's there.
Is he?
I'll call him. This is Allison.
Did he just say he was here?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
No, he's not there.
all right.
Okay, please go ahead. Let us know what the result is, but I'd like to at least find out whether he can make it before we go into executive session. So, okay, moving on. Okay,
Then I'll proceed.
please.
Okay, slide 19. COPA Connects, this is the Council on Governmental Ethics Laws. They've had several webinars, training sessions that I think some staff have participated in, and maybe Vice Chair as well.
Two of them.
Okay, there was one on training, May 2nd. If anybody attended, if you'd like to report.
I listened, basically, I was listening. A lot of it had to do with campaign financing, so it wasn't really ethics. So I didn't have anything to say, so I'm listening and learning. And I do know that I would like very much to go to the COCO conference in December. I find COCO wonderful. What a resource for us. Absolutely.
So I attended both the training editions, the May 2nd and the June 13th one. The May 2nd one was really, a great learning opportunity. The main topic was how to make training relevant, effective, and short. So there were quite a few attendees, and they shared their own ideas of how they go about training. So it was really nice to hear what other people are doing as well, and to kind of get an idea for future training for ourselves. The June 13th was kind of the same, but it was trying to figure out how to make online training courses more effective and confident. And there's a ton of different online training courses out there. So it's hard to figure out which one would be most successful. So then people shared their own ideas and thoughts and kind of their own way of how they do online training. So I have some ideas. So hopefully we can improve our not only online but in-person training as well.
I will tell you the one thing about COBOL that I was very interested in is I went and I looked at other cities' ethics laws. I looked at New York and I looked at, other cities, big and small. And it was very interesting to see the kind of information they give to their employees. I mean, it kind of runs the gamut. I could probably have seen some of it too, but it was wonderful to see what other cities consider important to them. As opposed to what we consider important to us in our little community here.
Well, there are lots of others, sessions coming up that you can sign up for. Commissioner,
Can we listen to the presentations or are they done live?
Some are recorded and there's a whole resource on the website, but Cynthia may not be in COCO because she's new. So you may have to do for Commissioner Lynch what you did for me, which is put me into COCO.
We created you a separate account, right?
Yes, you created me an account, which Cynthia needs to probably have too, because then you'll find everything. It's amazing. You will really like it. I know you will.
And you're basically added on to the commission's institutional account as a sub account that allows you access.
And there's definitely recordings, and you'll get to know the people after a while too. In Canada, and across, you may know them.
yeah, I'm just gonna say, no, someone. Anyway, if anybody is interested in signing up for future events, then please let Leland know. He can assist with registration.
And in this campaign year, I encourage everyone to go to the COBOL resource and check out information.
Hello?
Who's saying
who's that?
hello?
Peter, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Peter Adler. I'm on a
Bravo.
little iPhone.
Yeah,
Good to see you.
I
Good to
couldn't
hear
get,
you. We don't see you.
I could. I'm on an iPhone too, because I couldn't get in.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, maybe after
All
the
kind of
meeting.
WebEx problems.
Yeah, we can investigate
Must
that
be.
for,
Then for the record, I'll note that Commissioner Adler joined us at 12:30.
good to have you here.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, Jen.
Moving on, the 22 are merely save the dates for upcoming conferences. And then I believe the only other remaining matters are the executive session determinations and executive session.
Right. So for the benefit of any public who are here, this is now at the point in the agenda where we determine whether to go into executive session. And the topic is for discussion and action, could the Ethics Commission exercise its discretion to consider the annual evaluation of the executive director and legal counsel? And before I entertain a motion for that, I would just like to explain that at that point, if we do go into executive session, we will invite all public to exit the meeting. They will be automatically moved by our online administrator into the lobby in any case. So can I have and after the meeting, by the way, after the executive session, we will come back into public session just for the purpose of reporting out any action if we take action. And then for the purpose of adjourning the meeting overall. So for most public, there's not much left to see. Commissioner Marks, yes, you have your hand up.
I move that we go into executive session and that the commission members meet together before we invite Jan into the executive session.
Any
I'll
second?
second.
Okay.
I'll second.
That was Commissioner Adler.
No, that was Commissioner Suamori.
Suamori.
I'm sorry.
So Maury second.
Suamori second. Thank you. I want to ask, is it Erin who's running the technical side? Erin, can you arrange it so that we isolate just commissioners and then somehow we'll step outside and let somebody know when to invite Jan back in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We can text you? Okay, yeah, that'll work. Okay. Does that work? Okay, great. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, I think for this purpose, I'll take a roll call for going into executive session. Vice Chair, how do you vote?
Okay.
And Commissioner Rich, Commissioner Jimon,
Yes.
Commissioner Adler,
Yes.
Mr. Suamori.
Aye.
Chair votes
Yes.
aye. Yes, we got it. Thank you. Everybody's voting aye on that. Did I miss Marks? I missed Marks.
You did. I vote aye.
Thank you. And so that's unanimous. Let's please arrange the executive session setup. And thank you, everyone who might be leaving at this point.
Chair Monk, this is Moana. I'm gonna bow out for the remaining, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's great, Moana. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Erin, if you need me to log out, because I can't change it to Allison. Should I log
Hi,
out?
Al. Yeah, at this point,
Yeah.
once everybody else is out, I think we just want to make sure that it's only commissioners that are either online or in the room.
We could use a fan.
I will turn on the fan if it needs some air.
You need the air.
Well,
It might be muffled for the online, but.
I'll tell you what, we'll take a 2-minute biological break and we can run the fan during the
Just to
break.
get some air.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody hear that online? We're taking a 2-minute bio break. Maybe it'll be 3.
You know, you could also, I'm wondering,
So you'll see just these people that go.
further over that way.
But this is just controlling the meeting. She'll step away. That's why she had 2 cameras on.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm just, yeah.
You want to put the fan over into that corner on top of the table? So then the air will.
I think I've already mentioned it, but I will miss that meeting.
And yeah, so I hope it's for something good.
It is. So who will be in your stead?
Lori,
Okay. All right. So that's
so can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, so Rice moved and Jim on seconded. And we just take a vote, no discussion. Anybody object to adjournment? Hearing no objection, meeting is adjourned.
Yay!
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Cynthia, that's a little longer than you.
Yeah.
She's like, "What did I get myself in?"